First contact fiasco in approximately 1,200 words. The sleek diplomatic vessel, Earth's pride, glided through the star-studded expanse, its hull gleaming under the light of distant suns. Inside, Ambassador Sarah Chen paced the bridge, her normally composed demeanor betraying a hint of anxiety. This was humanity's big moment. First contact with the Galactic Council. Everything had to be perfect. Admiral Reeves, status report, she called out, smoothing her tailored suit for the 1,000th time. The grizzled officer looked up from his console. We're approaching the coordinates, ma'am. ETA 5 minutes to the harmonious confluence. Sarah nodded, taking a deep breath. Humanity had come so far in the last century. Faster than light travel, colonies on Mars and Europa, even the beginnings of asteroid mining. But compared to the races they were about to meet, Earth was still a cosmic infant. As they neared their destination, a massive structure materialized before them. The harmonious confluence was a marvel of alien engineering. A sprawling space station that served as the seat of the Galactic Council. Its crystalline spires and swirling energy fields defied human understanding. "My God," whispered Dr. Elias Kapper, the mission's chief xenobiologist. "It's beautiful." A melodious voice echoed through the ship's speakers. "Unidentified vessel, you have entered Galactic Council space. State your purpose or be atomized." Sarah swallowed hard. "This is Ambassador Sarah Chen of Earth. We come in peace, seeking dialogue and mutual understanding." There was a long pause before the voice responded. "Proceed to docking bay Epsilon 9. Prepare for bioscan and decontamination." As Earth's pride maneuvered into the alien docking bay, the crew marveled at the diversity of ships around them. Some were organic, pulsing with life. Others seemed to bend light itself, barely visible to the naked eye. Sarah turned to her team. "Remember, we're here to make a good impression. Earth's future could depend on this meeting. Let's show them humanity at its best." The airlock hissed open, revealing a delegation of alien beings. In the lead was a tall, willowy creature with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. It spoke, its words translated through the human's earpieces. "I am Zixlura, adjutant to the High Council. We welcome you, children of Earth, to the galactic community." Sarah stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Thank you, Adjutant Zixlura. We are honored to." Her words were cut short by a commotion behind her. Dr. Kapper had become entangled in his own sampling equipment, stumbling forward. As he flailed, his hand struck an ornate object hovering nearby. Some kind of anti-gravity sculpture. Time seemed to slow as the artifact wobbled, then plummeted. It shattered on the deck with a sound like 1,000 crystal goblets breaking at once. Silence fell. The aliens stared in shock. Sarah felt the blood drain from her face. Zixlura's voice was ice. That was the Harmony Sphere, a gift from the extinct progenitors. It was over 10 million years old. I'm so sorry," Sarah stammered. "We'll do anything to make amends." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Perhaps we were too hasty in welcoming you. Humans are clearly not ready for the responsibilities of council membership." What followed was a grueling series of negotiations, accusations, and apologies. In the end, Earth was granted a probationary status, the lowest tier of council membership. They would be allowed to observe and learn, but would have no vote, no voice in galactic affairs. As news of the fiasco spread, Earth became a laughingstock among the stars. Memes in 1,000 alien languages mocked the clumsy primates who broke a priceless artifact moments after arrival. Some races called for humanity to be quarantined, deemed too dangerous to be allowed off their home planet. Returned to Earth, Sarah faced a barrage of criticism. She stood before the United Earth Council, shoulders squared, taking responsibility for the mission's failure. "We underestimated the challenge," she admitted, "but we cannot give up. Yes, we made a terrible first impression. Now we must work twice as hard to prove our worth." In the months that followed, human representatives were assigned the most menial tasks in the Galactic Council. They scrubbed waste reclamators, sorted data crystals, and performed other jobs deemed too dull or unpleasant for the advanced races. Orcs, a methane-breathing bureaucrat, seemed to take particular pleasure in tormenting the humans. "Ah, the primates arrive," he wheezed one day. "I have a special task for you. The quantum fluctuation tanks need cleaning. Do try not to break the space-time continuum." Some humans couldn't take the humiliation. They returned to Earth, bitter and disillusioned. But others, like Sarah, saw an opportunity in their lowly position. "We're invisible to them," she told her team. "They think we're stupid, so they talk freely around us. We can learn more as janitors than we ever could as diplomats." And learn they did. Humans might lack the telepathic abilities of the Zenfar or the quantum processors of the Mechanids, but they had an unparalleled talent for pattern recognition and lateral thinking. Slowly, they began to piece together the complex web of alliances, feuds, and secrets that made up galactic politics. They discovered that the supposedly unified Galactic Council was rife with factions and infighting. The Arterians and the Volcrin were on the brink of war over trading rights in the Orion Arm. The nature of the relationship between the enigmatic Varlans and the silicon-based beings called the Gestalt was unknown even to most council members. Moreover, not all aliens looked down on humanity. The Arcavians, a race of prolific tinkerers, were fascinated by human ingenuity. You created spaceflight with combustion engines and slide rules. One Arcavian engineer marveled. "Inefficient, yes, but absolutely brilliant." As the humans worked and watched, they also prepared. Earth's scientists worked tirelessly, reverse engineering alien tech whenever possible. They couldn't match the other races in most areas, but they found niches where human creativity gave them an edge. 6 months after the disastrous first contact, Sarah received an urgent message from Earth. A classified project, long in the works, was finally ready. Armed with this new information, she requested an audience with the High Council itself. The council chamber was a vast amphitheater, with representatives from 1,000 worlds arrayed in floating platforms. Sarah stood on the central dais, feeling the weight of countless alien eyes upon her. "Esteemed members of the High Council," she began, her voice steady, "I come before you today to offer an apology and a proposal." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Rakas's reedy voice cut through the noise. "An apology? Did you break another irreplaceable artifact, primate?" Sarah smiled, undeterred. "No, Counselor. I apologize because we have not been fully honest with you. We've presented ourselves as a simple, technologically backward species. The truth is more complex." She activated a holographic display, showing a massive space station orbiting Jupiter. "This is Olympus Station. We've been building it in secret for decades. It's equipped with technology that we believe could help solve the quantum instabilities in the Crab Nebula." The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations and accusations of deceit. Sarah raised her hands for silence. "We came to you humbly, hoping to learn. And we have learned more than you can imagine. Now we ask for the chance to contribute, to prove that humanity has something unique to offer the galactic community." As the council debated furiously, Sarah allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. The real work was just beginning, but humanity had taken its first true step onto the galactic stage. Whether the other races liked it or not, the era of human irrelevance was over. The galaxy would never be the same. The Quantum Conundrum in approximately 1,200 words. The Galactic Council's Grand Assembly Hall buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 1,000 worlds shifted uneasily in their anti-gravity pods, appendages twitching and tentacles curling. At the center of the vast chamber, a holographic display showed a roiling mass of energy, pulsing with otherworldly colors. High Counselor Zyxon, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline lattice, addressed the assembly. "Esteemed colleagues, the situation in the Crab Nebula has grown dire. The quantum anomaly expands at an exponential rate, threatening to destabilize subspace across 3 sectors. Murmurs of concern rippled through the gathering. The Crab Nebula, once a stellar nursery of incomparable beauty, had become the site of a cosmic catastrophe. A month ago, routine energy harvesting operations had triggered something unexpected, a cascading quantum event that defied explanation. Our finest minds have failed to contain the anomaly, Zyxon continued, its voice resonating with barely contained frustration. The Zinthar's probability matrices, the Volcrin's temporal manipulators, even the Gestalt's quantum computers, all have proven ineffective. In a far corner of the chamber, largely ignored by the assembled dignitaries, sat the human delegation. Ambassador Sarah Chen leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the swirling hologram. Beside her, Dr. Elias Capper furiously scribbled notes on an archaic paper notebook, a habit that never failed to amuse their alien counterparts. If unchecked, Zyxon was saying, the anomaly could create a chain reaction, altering the fundamental constants of our universe. We face nothing less than the unraveling of reality itself. Panic began to spread through the assembly. The Arterians, a race of crystalline beings, began to resonate at an alarming frequency. The methane-breathing Volcrin released great clouds of anxious pheromones. Sarah turned to Elias, keeping her voice low. What do you think? Could the Jupiter array help? The scientist shook his head, not directly. But I have an idea. It's crazy, but it just might work. Before Sarah could respond, a sharp voice cut through the chaos. Perhaps we should ask our primitive friends what they think. It was Erakos, the bureaucrat who never missed a chance to mock humanity. Surely creatures who only recently mastered combustion engines can solve a problem that has stumped the greatest minds in the galaxy. A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber. Sarah felt her cheeks burn, but she stood, squaring her shoulders. Actually, Counselor, we may have a suggestion. The laughter died abruptly. Zyxon's crystalline form pulsed with surprise. The floor recognizes the representative from Earth. Sarah nodded to Elias, who stepped forward, clutching his notebook. Esteemed Council, he began, his voice shaking slightly. We've been studying the data on the anomaly, and we believe there's a solution you haven't considered. He tapped a few commands into his datapad, and a new image appeared alongside the anomaly. A complex mathematical model that looked like a cross between a Mobius strip and a fractal pattern. We call it a quantum folding cascade, Elias explained. Instead of trying to contain or suppress the anomaly, we propose accelerating it in a controlled manner. The chamber erupted in outrage. Madness, shouted a Volcrin ambassador. You'll doom us all. Elias raised his hands, pleading for calm. Please, hear me out. By introducing a carefully calibrated stream of tachyons, we can create a feedback loop within the anomaly. It will cause the quantum field to fold in on itself, essentially turning the anomaly inside out. And then what? Demanded Zyxon. You'll have merely changed the shape of our doom. Not quite, Sarah interjected. The folded quantum state will be metastable. We can then use focused gravity waves to collapse it into a harmless singularity. The council chamber fell silent as the assembled beings grappled with the concept. It was Erakos who broke the silence, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Oh, of course, it's so simple. And I suppose you primates have a tachyon stream and gravity wave generator tucked away somewhere. Sarah smiled. As a matter of fact, Counselor, we do. The Jupiter array was designed for precisely this kind of quantum manipulation. We've been running simulations for weeks. She nodded to Elias, who brought up a new hologram, a detailed simulation of their proposed solution. The assembled aliens watched in stunned silence as the virtual anomaly twisted, folded, and finally collapsed into a tiny point of light. This is unprecedented, Zyxon admitted. But the risks are enormous, if your calculations are off by even a fraction. With all due respect, High Counselor, Sarah said, we don't see any other options on the table. Every moment we delay, the anomaly grows stronger. We're willing to take full responsibility for this operation. A heated debate broke out among the council members. Some were intrigued by the human proposal, while others dismissed it as the ravings of a primitive species. The Artarians were particularly vocal in their opposition, their crystalline bodies resonating with distrust. As the argument raged, Sarah felt a gentle tap on her shoulder. She turned to see Zixlara, the willowy alien who had first welcomed humanity to the Galactic Council. "A word in private, Ambassador," the alien whispered. Sarah followed Zixlara to a quiet alcove. The alien's galaxy-filled eyes seemed troubled. "Your plan is bold, human," Zixlara said. "Perhaps too bold. There are factions within the Council who would not look kindly on your species gaining such prestige." Sarah's eyes narrowed. "Are you saying some would rather see the anomaly destroy everything than let humans solve the problem?" Zixlara's skin shimmered, a sign of discomfort. "Politics in the galaxy are complex, Ambassador. Balances of power that have existed for eons are not easily disturbed. But surely the threat to all existence outweighs political concerns?" Sarah asked, incredulous. "One would hope," Zixlara replied cryptically. "Be cautious, human. You are playing a game whose rules you do not fully understand." As they returned to the main chamber, Sarah's mind raced. The stakes had just gotten even higher. Zixen's voice cut through her thoughts. "We have reached a decision. The Council acknowledges the potential of the human proposal. However, we cannot risk the fate of the galaxy on an untested theory from a probationary species." Sarah felt her heart sink, but Zixen wasn't finished. "Therefore, we will allow a small human team to attempt their solution, under strict supervision. You will be given access to a single ship and limited resources. If you fail, the Council will disavow all knowledge of this operation. If you succeed, we shall reassess humanity's status among the stars." As the Council session adjourned, Sarah and Elias shared a look of mixed excitement and trepidation. They had a chance, one chance, to prove humanity's worth and save the galaxy. But as they left the chamber, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were being set up to fail. The question was, by whom and why? The fate of not just humanity, but all sentient life, now rested on their shoulders. The real challenge was only beginning. Operation Trojan Horse in approximately 1,200 words. The aging freighter Lucky Star drifted through the swirling gases of the Crab Nebula, its hull pitted and scarred from years of hard use. To any observer, it appeared to be just another independent trader, perhaps hunting for valuable exotic elements in the nebula's turbulent heart. But appearances could be deceiving. In the ship's cramped bridge, Captain Zora Vega ran her hand through her close-cropped hair, studying the sensor readouts with intense focus. "How are we looking, Kai?" Her first officer, a lanky man with cybernetic implants snaking up his neck, frowned at his console. "Quantum fluctuations are off the charts, Captain. The anomaly's grown another 12% since our last scan." At this rate, Zara nodded grimly. "I know. Let's hope our little surprise package works as advertised." The Lucky Star was no ordinary freighter. Beneath its battered exterior lay cutting-edge technology, the product of Earth's best and brightest minds working in secret for years. Its holds, ostensibly filled with mining equipment, actually contained a compact tachyon accelerator and a prototype gravity wave emitter, the keys to humanity's audacious plan to save the galaxy. And at the heart of it all was the quantum fold drive, a revolutionary propulsion system that Earth had kept hidden from the Galactic Council. It was their ace in the hole, and quite possibly the only thing that could get them close enough to the anomaly to enact their plan. "Comms coming online," reported Asha Kapoor, the ship's communication officer. Her dark eyes narrowed as she listened to her earpiece. "It's Ambassador Chen, patching her through now." Sarah Chen's holographic image flickered to life on the bridge. Even through the distortion, the strain on her face was evident. "Captain Vega, status report." Zara straightened in her chair. "We're in position, Ambassador. The anomaly's growing faster than predicted, but we're ready to proceed." Sarah nodded. "Good, but there's been a complication. We've detected unusual activity from the Arterian fleet. They're mobilizing ships, officially for emergency evacuation protocols. Zara exchanged a worried glance with Kai. You think they're onto us? We can't be sure, Sarah replied. But given their vocal opposition to our plan, we have to assume they might try to interfere. You need to act fast, Captain. The Council's patience is wearing thin. Understood, Ambassador. We'll get it done. As the hologram faded, Zara turned to her crew. All right, people, this is it. Everything we've worked for comes down to the next few hours. Kai, begin power-up sequence for the quantum fold drive. Asha, maintain calm silence from here on out. Lee, I want weapons hot, just in case our Arterian friends decide to pay us a visit. The bridge hummed with activity as the crew prepared for the most crucial mission in human history. Zara felt the familiar mix of excitement and terror that preceded any dangerous operation, amplified 1,000-fold by the stakes involved. Quantum fold drive at 90% and rising, Kai reported. Ready to engage on your mark. Zara took a deep breath. Engage. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality itself appeared to bend around the ship. Stars streaked and blurred, the roiling gases of the nebula twisting into impossible patterns. Zara's stomach lurched as space-time folded around them. When the disorientation passed, they found themselves mere kilometers from the heart of the anomaly. The sensor displays went haywire, struggling to make sense of the quantum chaos surrounding them. My God, Asha whispered. It's beautiful. And it was. The anomaly pulsed with colors that had no name, geometric patterns that shouldn't exist in three-dimensional space. It was a window into the underlying fabric of the universe, and that fabric was unraveling. No time for sightseeing, Zara snapped. Lee, deploy the tachyon accelerator. Kai, begin gravity wave calibrations. As the crew worked feverishly, alarms began to blare. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, Lee reported, his voice tight. Arterian signatures. They'll be in weapons range in 2 minutes. Zara swore under her breath. Asha, open a channel. Let's see if we can talk our way out of this. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the faceted, crystalline visage of an Arterian commander. Its voice resonated through the bridge, harsh and uncompromising. Human vessel, power down your systems immediately. Your reckless actions threaten the stability of the entire sector. Zara stood, meeting the alien's gaze steadily. With all due respect, Commander, we're carrying out a Council-sanctioned mission. Stand down and let us do our job. The Arterian's crystalline surface rippled with what might have been laughter. Your job is to fail, human. Surely you realize this was merely a ploy to humiliate your species further. No one actually expected you to succeed. The words hit Zara like a physical blow, confirming their worst suspicions, but there was no time for recrimination now. Be that as it may, she replied coolly, we have no intention of failing. I suggest you keep your distance. Things are about to get weird. She cut the transmission before the Arterian could respond. Status on the tachyon stream. Ready to fire, Lee confirmed. Gravity wave emitter charged and calibrated, added Kai. Zara nodded, her jaw set. Do it. A brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the lucky star, striking the heart of the anomaly. For a terrifying moment, nothing happened. Then the swirling chaos began to change, twisting and folding in on itself like some cosmic origami. It's working, Kai exclaimed. Quantum field is collapsing along predicted lines. But their triumph was short-lived. The ship rocked violently as energy beams from the Arterian vessels slammed into their shields. Shields at 60%, Lee reported grimly. We can't take much more of this. Zara gripped her command chair, mind racing. They were so close. They couldn't fail now, not with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. Kai, divert all non-essential power to the gravity wave emitter. We need to end this now. But Captain, that would leave us defenseless. Do it. As another barrage of Arterian fire rocked the ship, Zara felt a strange calm settle over her. One way or another, this would all be over soon. Gravity wave at maximum power, Kai reported. Firing now. A ripple of distorted spacetime erupted from the lucky star, enveloping the folded anomaly. For a heart-stopping moment, the universe seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a silent flash that seared itself into the retinas of everyone watching, the anomaly collapsed. Where once there had been a maelstrom of quantum chaos, now there was only a pinprick of intense light, a stable, harmless singularity. As cheers erupted on the bridge, Zora allowed herself a small smile. Get me a channel to Galactic Central. I think it's time we had a chat about humanity's place in the cosmos. The lucky star limped away from the scene of its triumph, shields battered but spirits soaring. They had done the impossible, saved the galaxy, and proven once and for all that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. But as Zora looked out at the stunned Arterian fleet, she knew that their greatest challenges and opportunities were only just beginning. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity was at the heart of the coming storm. Chaos in the Council in approximately 1,200 words. The Galactic Council chamber, normally a bastion of order and decorum, had devolved into barely controlled chaos. Representatives from 100 worlds shouted over one another, their translator devices struggling to keep up with the cacophony of alien languages. At the center of the storm stood Ambassador Sarah Chen, her face impassive as accusations and demands flew from all directions. The holographic displays surrounding her showed the aftermath of the Crab Nebula incident, the collapsed anomaly, the retreating Arterian ships, and the battered but triumphant Lucky Star. High Counselor Zixen's crystalline form pulsed with agitation as it attempted to restore order. Silence. We will have silence. Gradually, the tumult subsided, though the air remained charged with tension. Ambassador Chen, Zixen intoned, its voice resonating through the chamber. You stand accused of multiple violations of Council protocol, unauthorized use of restricted technology, engagement in hostile actions against a Council member race, and most seriously, the concealment of advanced capabilities from this body. Sarah straightened, her voice steady. With respect, High Counselor, we stand accused of saving the galaxy. The methods we employed were unorthodox, yes, but they were effective. As for the concealment of our technology, we had little choice given the less than warm welcome we received upon joining this council. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Arakas, the methane-breathing bureaucrat, pushed his hoverpod forward. This is outrageous. The humans have made a mockery of this council. They must be censured, their world quarantined. I concur, came the resonant tones of the Arterian representative, its crystalline surface shimmering with barely contained rage. The humans' reckless actions nearly triggered a war. They cannot be trusted with advanced technology. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Reckless. It was your fleet that fired upon a sanctioned council mission, Counselor. A mission that succeeded in neutralizing a threat to the entire galaxy, I might add. Before the Arterian could respond, a new voice cut through the debate. Perhaps we are asking the wrong questions. All eyes turned to Zixlara, the willowy alien who had first welcomed humanity to the Council. Instead of focusing on punitive measures, should we not be asking how the humans achieved what our finest minds could not? A thoughtful silence fell over the chamber. Zixen's crystalline structure pulsed slowly, considering. Ambassador Chen, the Council would hear an explanation of your methods. Sarah nodded, tapping commands into her datapad. A complex holographic model sprang to life in the center of the chamber, the quantum folding cascade that had saved the galaxy. The key was thinking outside conventional parameters, Sarah explained. Where others saw chaos to be contained, we saw potential to be harnessed. Our quantum fold drive, interrupted a Volcran representative, tendrils waving in agitation. Impossible. Such technology is purely theoretical. A small smile played at the corners of Sarah's mouth. Not anymore, counselor. The principles behind it allowed us not only to approach the anomaly safely, but also to manipulate its quantum structure in ways previously thought impossible. The chamber erupted once more, but this time with a mixture of awe, skepticism, and naked greed. Several representatives began shouting demands for access to the new technology. Zixon raised its crystalline appendages for silence. This is unprecedented. Ambassador Chen, your species has demonstrated capabilities far beyond what we believed possible. The Council must convene in private to discuss the implications. As the main chamber emptied, Sarah found herself ushered into a small antechamber. She sank into a conforming chair, feeling the weight of the past few days settle onto her shoulders. A soft chime announced an incoming transmission. Captain Zora Vega's face appeared on a nearby screen. Humanity's finest hour in approximately 1,200 words. The situation had escalated from diplomatic crisis to potential interstellar war in a matter of hours. As the unknown fleet approached Earth, the Galactic Council chamber had become a war room, with holographic displays showing ship movements and strategic projections. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the center of the storm, her voice rising above the cacophony. I demand to know the meaning of this, Zixlara. You speak of a convergence, but all I see is an invasion force threatening my homeworld. The willowy alien skin shimmered with what might have been excitement or apprehension. This is no invasion, Ambassador. The convergence is an alliance of like-minded beings from across the galaxy. We've been watching humanity's potential, waiting for the right moment to reveal ourselves. By sending a war fleet to Earth, Sarah's voice dripped with skepticism. A show of strength was necessary, Zixlara explained. There are those who would seek to suppress Earth's rise. We aim to prevent that. Before Sarah could respond, a new alarm blared through the chamber. The main holographic display shifted, showing a massive energy buildup near Jupiter. High Counselor Zixon's crystalline form pulsed with surprise. What is this? Earth has no defensive capabilities in that sector. A grim smile played at the corners of Sarah's mouth. I wouldn't be so sure about that, Counselor. As they watched, a massive space station shimmered into view, dropping its stealth field. The Olympus Station, humanity's ace in the hole, hidden in plain sight for years. Impossible, breathed the Arterian representative. The energy readings. It's more advanced than anything in our fleets. Sarah squared her shoulders, addressing the stunned council. Members of the Galactic Council, it's time for some truth. Earth has not been as primitive as we've led you to believe. The quantum fold drive, Olympus Station, these are just the beginning of what we've developed in secret. She turned to Zixlara. We appreciate the convergences, interest in Earth, but we will determine our own destiny. I suggest you withdraw your fleet immediately. Zixlara's galaxy eyes swirled with conflicting emotions. You don't understand, Ambassador. The old order is crumbling. The convergence offers protection, advancement, at the cost of our independence. No thank you, Sarah cut in. She tapped her communicator. Captain Vega, you're clear to proceed with Operation Phalanx. On the holographic display, hundreds of ships began to appear around Earth and its colonies, a hidden fleet that dwarfed anything the Council races had suspected. Leading them was the refitted and battle-ready Lucky Star. The Council chamber erupted in a mixture of outrage and awe. Accusations of deception flew, countered by grudging admiration for the audacity of Earth's long game. High Counselor Zixon raised its appendages for silence. It seems we have all underestimated the humans. Ambassador Chen, what are your intentions? Sarah's voice was steel. Our intentions are simple: to protect Earth and to take our rightful place among the galactic community. Not as supplicants or junior partners, but as equals. She turned to address the entire council. For too long, the advanced races have looked down on younger species, seeing them as resources to be exploited or threats to be contained. Today, that changes. The main display split, showing the Earth Defense Fleet facing off against the Convergence Armada. Tension crackled through the chamber as everyone waited to see who would make the first move. It was Zixlara who broke the silence. "You leave us no choice, Ambassador. If Earth will not join us willingly, we must." The alien's words were cut off by a massive energy surge from Olympus Station. A shimmering field expanded outward, enveloping both fleets in a matter of seconds. "What have you done?" Zixlara demanded, its composure finally cracking. Sarah allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. "Changed the rules of engagement. That field is generated by an advanced quantum entanglement device. Within its radius, no weapons can be fired, no shields raised. We're all equals now." The council chamber watched in stunned silence as the Earth fleet began to move, not to attack, but to interpose itself between the convergent ships, creating a complex, interlocking formation. "This is the true power of humanity," Sarah continued. "Not our technology, impressive as it may be, but our ability to find a third option when others see only conflict or capitulation." She turned to Zixlara. "You spoke of a convergence. Well, here it is. Not through force or coercion, but through cooperation and mutual respect. Earth extends an invitation, not just to your alliance, but to all races represented here. Join us in building a truly united galaxy." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices, some outraged, others intrigued, and a growing number cautiously supportive. High Counselor Zixen's crystalline form pulsed rhythmically, a sign of deep contemplation. "Ambassador Chen, you have given us much to consider. But surely you must realize that this revelation will have consequences. The balance of power." "The balance of power was an illusion," Sarah interrupted, "one that kept younger races subjugated and stifled innovation. We're offering a chance to move beyond that, to face the true challenges that threaten all sentient life in this galaxy." As if on cue, the holographic display shifted again, showing a distant sector of space. A roiling mass of darkness was visible, consuming stars and worlds in its path. "The Void Scourge," Zixen whispered, its voice filled with dread. "It has returned." Sarah nodded grimly. "An existential threat that no single race can face alone. This is why we revealed ourselves now. This is why we need a true convergence of all sentient beings." The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Ages-old rivalries and prejudices seemed petty in the face of such a monumental threat. It was Erakos, the once dismissive bureaucrat, who spoke first. "The humans have shown wisdom beyond their years. Perhaps it is time we listen to what they have to say." One by one, representatives from various races stepped forward, pledging their support. Even the Arterians, after much internal debate, agreed to stand with Earth against the greater threat. Zixlara approached Sarah, its galaxy eyes swirling with a mixture of admiration and chagrin. "You have outmaneuvered us all, Ambassador. The convergence submits to your vision of unity." As the council session adjourned, plans already being made for a grand alliance, unlike any the galaxy had seen, Sarah allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. They had averted one crisis, only to face an even greater challenge. But for the first time since humanity had stepped onto the galactic stage, she felt true hope for the future. Her communicator chimed. Captain Zara Vega's face appeared, grinning widely. "Not bad for a bunch of primitive primates." Ambassador." Sarah laughed, feeling the tension of the past days finally begin to ease. "We did all right, Captain. But our work's just beginning." As she looked out at the assembled alien races, former adversaries now cautious allies, Sarah knew that humanity had not just survived its trial by fire. It had emerged as a guiding light for the entire galaxy. The true test still lay ahead, but Earth would face it not alone, but at the head of the greatest alliance the universe had ever known. Humanity's finest hour had only just begun.